Prepare yourself for a talk radio experience like no other.
Strap yourselves in and hold on.
He stands for truth. He stands for justice. He stands for what's right. This is the Alex Jones Show. Call Alex now, toll free, at 877-590-5525. Now live from Austin, Texas, here's Alex Jones.
Hello, listeners across the country and the planet. It is already the third day of August 2008. Thank you for joining us on this live Sunday edition. We're here every Sunday, 5 to 7 Eastern, 4 to 6 Central. And we have two guests joining us today. Later in the hour, one of the chief investigators that exposed to the world the fact that the Vince Foster suicide back in the early days of the Clinton administration was a hit, a murder. And that's Mike Rivero, investigative journalist. He'll be joining us coming up in about 30 minutes. Then we have a listener who ended up getting prisonplanet.com in the news, but not quite in the way we'd like. It was on CNN, Fox. It was in more than 20 newspapers. A whole bunch of New England TV stations covered it as well. He went on board an airplane at Boston Logan Airport flying back to college, where he goes to college in Southern California, and he reportedly admits to sticking one of our bumper stickers that we put in all the videotape, all the film orders and book orders that go out from Infowars.com, sticking it in the bathroom. Now, we understand he wanted to get the word out, but we do not encourage vandalism, even if it is borderline vandalism. It probably didn't damage anything. Still, it can create fear, and the police hyped it up and stopped the airplane and freaked out and put bomb dogs on board. And he was arrested. This was last Thursday, and he was indicted and then charged Friday. Very quick about it. Well, guess what? He's out on bail, and we have this arch thought criminal joining us coming up in an hour and a half against the advice of his lawyers. But might as well come on this show. He's going on all the other shows talking about it. They're also spinning what he had to say. They're saying, the airport police said that he did it as a joke. No, he was saying they're arresting him and canceling the flight for 3+ hours. That was a overreaction. But that's the whole point. That's why the criminals in government staged the 9/11 attacks, was so they could create a culture of fear and take some of the bravest people in the world and turn us into a nation of ninnying cowards, where now they've shut I-35 down here in Austin before because of a small box on the side of the road that blew out of a car. Now, the media ignores Los Zetas, paramilitary Mexican troops, car bombing in Dallas, machine gunning on the border, rocket attacks on newspapers, more than 600 murders in 1 year. That's all covered up and kept quiet. I mean, a real war, a real drug war. 54 Americans kidnapped in one day by drug gangs and taken across the border, and then a huge firefight where some were killed. That hardly made South Texas papers. But you got a cardboard box on the side of the street. They shut I-35 down. Everyone panics, and men in black uniforms arrive in black ski masks to be the saviors of everyone. So I'm already digressing. We'll be talking to him coming up in about an hour and 25 minutes from now. Okay, I want to go ahead and get into the top story today. Very, very important information. I want everyone to take notes and pay attention to what I'm covering here. All the proof of what I'm saying is up on Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com right now. Thursday, during the radio show, I was sent a YouTube clip of Seymour Hersh, the most respected living journalist today, Pulitzer Prize winner, the greatest living investigative journalist, and every report he's put out over the decades since he broke Operation Phoenix and torture camps and the My Lai massacre in Vietnam, everything he's ever reported, and I've gone over his major reportage, has been very accurate. He has inside sources in the Pentagon, in every major White House, in the FBI. And Cy Hirsch, a few months ago, reported that the White House was looking for a pretext to start a war with Iran. Now, we already had White House memos, the famous White House memo, that's gotten so much attention with Tony Blair and George Bush, where Bush talks about flying our planes low, painted up like UN aircraft, hopefully some of Saddam's troops would shoot at them. Now, that's criminal, but that's one thing, and we know they did then carry that out. This is even worse. This is even worse, and we then put a report out on it Thursday night and Friday and put the call out for the mainstream media to cover it. They did. One outfit did cover it, and that was Keith Olbermann. There's just a few second snip of it. We have a link to it if you want it up on prisonplanet.com right now. But here is a small piece of Keith Olbermann talking about it Friday.
He told the Campus Progress Journalism Conference that in a meeting in the Vice President's office, members of the administration sat around brainstorming ideas to provoke a war with Iran. Quote, the one that interested me the most was, why don't we in our shipyard, build 4 or 5 boats that look like Iranian PT boats, put Navy SEALs on them with a lot of arms, and the next time one of our boats goes to the Straits of Hormuz, start a shoot-up. Might cost some lives, and it was rejected because you can't have Americans killing Americans. That's the level of stuff we're talking about. Provocation, but that was rejected. Can you see this happening in Cheney's office? Sure you can. Can you see Cheney getting all happy and worked up and almost smiling? Sure you can. Can you see when they get to the part about Americans being killed and you can't do that, and he just stares at them all and says, so? Vice President Dick Cheney, today's worst person in the world.
Now, of course, there are more than 200 declassified examples of where criminal elements of our government, the CIA, the Army, the Marines, that's the main culprits, they're very proud of it. They teach it in War College and how to do it, and it's in Army manuals, and we post them, declassified Army manuals, how to stage terror attacks, how to blow up churches, how to blame it on your enemies. Oh, it's official policy of the criminal government we have. And they just got a little bigger and a little badder on 9/11. You know, OKC only killed 160-something. That wasn't enough under the Clintons. So 3,000, that'll sure get the American people hopping mad for these $3 trillion wars we've had. The 2 wars have cost more than $3 trillion now. And, of course, hundreds of billions in no-bid weapons contracts every year to their cronies. But this is the point. Cy Hirsch published a story but didn't give details in the New Yorker a couple months ago. Then 2 weeks ago, at a journalism conference with hundreds in attendance, he goes and speaks, and somebody in the audience shoots video of this. And Cy Hirsch, we have the tape. It's up on Infowars.com. I played it twice last week. We're not going to play it today because of time constraints. Maybe later we will if we have time. It's about 5 minutes long, where he goes, well, you know, there were 11 other attacks they wanted to stage, but the military didn't like the idea and said, we better not do that. And so Dick Cheney was basically overruled by the president. Okay, but why is this not newsworthy that Dick Cheney, the vice president, is saying, let's paint up some boats, let's manufacture some boats and paint them to look like Iranian boats, and then have them go out, and if you actually read the transcript and watch the video, he says, have them have a shootout. So that means both sides shooting at each other. Now, that's Operation Northwoods. That's the declassified government plan to hijack jets by remote control and crash them, bomb D.C., bomb Miami, attack U.S. military bases, blame it on foreign enemies, blow our ships up, blame it on enemies. So I'm going to come back and finish up with this. The point here is, you, the listeners, are the reason this ended up being on MSNBC. As I said, Thursday and Friday, get it out to everybody, make sure the mainstream media is forced to cover it, and one station did, MSNBC, but we need an investigation. What are the other 11 targets that Cheney wanted to hit? This is criminal, this is outrageous, and it's just being glossed over. We're not going to gloss over it. Stay with us.